Welcome to Defenders, Dr. William Craig's weekly class at Johnson Ferry Baptist Church in Atlanta. For more information concerning the subjects on which Dr. Craig speaks, visit our website at reasonablefaith.org. You'll find articles, compelling debates, audio-video downloads, an interactive forum, and many more resources. That's reasonablefaith.org.
Also in the news this week was an interesting political tempest caused by Robert Jeffers, who is a Southern Baptist pastor in Dallas, Texas. And Jeffers is a Rick Perry supporter, and after introducing Rick Perry at the Values Conference, later said in an interview to the press that Mormonism is a cult, and that therefore Mitt Romney, who is a Mormon, is not a Christian. And this caused, as you can imagine, a great deal of consternation in the Perry camp. Perry's spokesman came and said the governor does not believe Mormonism is a cult and it doesn't make these sorts of judgments. Bill Bennett advised the pastor, do not give voice to bigotry. Do not give voice to bigotry. Now, this incident, I think, illustrates once again the naivete of many evangelicals when it comes to politics. I'm sure Pastor Jeffers has not done any good whatsoever for his favorite candidate, Rick Perry, by making these remarks. On the other hand, I fear that here again we see the influence of political correctness on public discourse, because the pastor made it very clear that when he said that Mormonism is a cult, he wasn't speaking in a sociological sense of a cult, but he said, I'm speaking theologically. And theologically, he's raising an interesting question. How do you determine theologically what is just a different Christian denomination from what is a Christian cult or sect or what distinguishes, say, Christian denominations like Lutherans and Methodists and Presbyterians and Catholics from Scientologists and Jehovah's Witnesses and Christian Scientists and so forth? Well, theologically, the plumb line seems to be the doctrine of the Trinity. These different Christian denominations all affirm adherence to the Christian doctrine of the Trinity, that there is one God who is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and these are co-equal members of the Trinity. And they may differ in other doctrines, but at least they are united in that, and therefore they count as Christian. But these cultic groups all deny in one way or another the doctrine of the Trinity. And that's why, for example, say Garner Ted Armstrong's Worldwide Church of God was counted as a cult rather than a Christian denomination, until in recent years it altered its doctrine and affirmed the doctrine of the Trinity, and now it is a denomination. Or again, Seventh-day Adventists hold some very peculiar views, but they are counted as a Christian denomination, not a cult, because they are orthodox in their affirmation of the Trinity. Now, Mormonism, the theology of Mormonism, is not Trinitarian. Indeed, Mormonism is not even monotheism. Mormonism is one of the strangest religious sects ever to arise out of American soil. Joseph Smith taught that God, Jehovah, the God of this universe, lives on a planet in outer space. He has a human physical body, and he lives on the planet Kolob, or near the star Kolob in outer space, and that there are gods and goddesses who procreate and produce children. And that if we are faithful Mormons in this life, we will eventually become gods and goddesses reigning over our own universes and beget further children. So Mormonism is actually a form of polytheism. It is a very gross, materialistic form of polytheism. It believes there are physical, humanoid gods and goddesses. just as in ancient Greece and Rome, they held to these physical deities that were that constituted the Greek and Roman pantheon of gods. So Mormonism, theologically speaking, I think it definitely is a cult, and Jefferson was quite right in saying this. Now that, however, is not to say that Romney is not a Christian. I think we have to be very careful there. Why do I say that? The reason is because Mormonism is very fluid doctrinally. The LDS Church doesn't have a doctrinal statement, and therefore its doctrine is able to morph very easily because it isn't committed to a creed. And so there are quite a number of Mormons today who have rejected the views of Joseph Smith and are beginning to affirm more orthodox conceptions of God as a transcendent, personal, spiritual being beyond the universe. Many of these Mormon theologians and thinkers are great fans of C.S. Lewis and derive a great deal of inspiration from his work. So Mormonism isn't a kind of monolithic belief structure. And unless Pastor Jeffers has actually talked to Romney about what he believes, we don't really know, or at least I don't know, that Romney affirms Joseph Smith's polytheism and doctrine. And so I think one can speak clearly and uncompromisingly about Mormon theology, but it's best not to make judgments about individual persons' own spiritual life unless you've actually talked to that person and you know what that person actually believes. Now, beyond this, whether or not one should vote for a person based on his religious beliefs, or you vote simply on the basis of policy positions, I'm not speaking to that. That's not relevant. My concern is simply, again, that political correctness is dictating public discourse and what is legitimate. It is not at all bigotry to say that Mormonism is theologically a sect or a cult, and Mormon theology traditionally has admitted this. Traditional Mormon theology is that the church fell into what they call the great apostasy, and they believe that the Christian church, so-called, has been apostate since the time of the apostles until the time of Joseph Smith. And therefore, they themselves distinguish from Christianity. It's only been in recent years that the LDS Church has made a concerted effort to reframe its image of being a non-Christian religion to being just another Christian denomination, so as to make it more acceptable in the American religious scene. And that is quite a departure historically from the way Mormons have seen themselves. But in any case, let's not allow political correctness to warp our theological judgment or to shape our political discourse.
For more resources from Dr. William Lane Craig, visit our website at reasonablefaith.org. You'll find articles, debates, audio-video downloads, and much more. That's reasonablefaith.org. The copyright for this material is owned by Dr. William Lane Craig.